Well, I am Muslim. I am an immigrant, and interestingly, from Africa. Is anyone surprised that I am being targeted? Is anyone surprised that I am somehow deemed unworthy to speak about American foreign policy? Or that they see me as a powerful voice that needs to be silenced?
I took an oath to defend the Constitution, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Again, I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm going to hold the Constitution, and it's very simple. We really shouldn't even have this debate. If you break the law and you follow due process, there are consequences to your actions, even if you say sorry. So we can try all of the diversion tactics that we would like. It doesn't change the fact that someone broke the law and that someone should be.
In this opening moment, Representative Ilhan Omar frames the controversy almost entirely through the lens of identity and perceived marginalization. She highlights her background as a Muslim, an immigrant, and someone from Africa, suggesting that these characteristics make her a target rather than the substance of her statements or actions. By asking whether anyone is surprised she is being singled out, she positions the criticism as rooted in bias rather than policy disagreement. This framing shifts the audience's attention away from the specific conduct under scrutiny and toward broader questions of belonging, representation, and who is allowed to participate in shaping American foreign policy. The emotional weight of this approach is powerful, but it also sets the stage for a deeper conflict, whether the debate is about identity-based exclusion or accountability tied to the responsibilities of public office.
It's the opinion of the chair that the ayes have it and the resolution is agreed to, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
This debate today, it's about who gets to be an American. What opinions do we have to be counted as Americans? This is what this debate is about, Madam Speaker. There is this idea that you are a suspect if you are an immigrant, or if you are from certain parts of the world, or a certain skin tone, or a Muslim.
Representative Lisa McClain responds by deliberately pulling the discussion back to institutional principles rather than personal narratives. She makes it clear that her stance is not about who someone is, but about the oath every member of Congress voluntarily takes to uphold the Constitution. McClain emphasizes that defending the Constitution is not something to apologize for, nor is it optional depending on political pressure. Her remarks introduce a sharp contrast in leadership styles, one focused on personal identity and perceived intent, and the other grounded in formal responsibility and constitutional duty. This moment reframes the issue as a question of standards. What is expected of those entrusted with legislative power?
It is no accident that members of the Republican Party accused the first Black president, Barack Obama, of being a secret Muslim. Well, I am Muslim. I am an immigrant, and interestingly, from Africa. Is anyone surprised that I am being targeted? Is anyone surprised that I am somehow deemed unworthy to speak about American foreign policy? Or that they see me as a powerful voice that needs to be silenced?
Gentleman reserves. Gentlelady from Michigan is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And to use that logic, well, then all those people should have just said sorry and we'd move on, right? But no, we don't do that. And let me tell you,
this segment expands on the principle that due process is not designed to eliminate consequences, but to ensure fairness in applying them. McClain stresses that accountability still exists even when apologies are offered or explanations are given. The argument here is straightforward but consequential. If laws or institutional rules are broken, the process must be allowed to run its course regardless of political status. She challenges the idea that emotional appeals or diversionary tactics should override established procedures. This clip reinforces the concept that equal treatment under the law is foundational to public trust, especially when those involved hold positions of power.
I take a little bit of offense to what the hell is wrong with me. I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong with me. I took an oath to defend the Constitution, And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Again, I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm going to hold the Constitution. And it's very simple. We really shouldn't even have this debate. If you break the law and you follow due process, there are consequences to your actions, even if you say sorry. So we can try all of the diversion tactics that we would like. It doesn't change the fact that someone broke the law.
Representative Nicole Malliotakis builds on this framework by focusing specifically on the role and influence of the Foreign Affairs Committee. She argues that rhetoric expressed within this committee carries significant weight because it directly affects how the United States is perceived internationally. Malliotakis raises concerns about statements that she believes blur moral distinctions between U.S. allies and extremist organizations, asserting that such language undermines the committee's mission. Her emphasis is not on personal background or ideology, but on whether a member's public statements align with the responsibilities of representing national interests abroad. This clip shifts the debate from general accountability to role-specific suitability.
And that someone should be held accountable. It is disappointing, Mr. Speaker, that their own party can't hold them accountable, that they have such hypocrisy. So with that, I yield 2 minutes to my friend from New York, Nicole Malliotakis.
Gentlelady is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've heard from my colleagues the reasons why the Representative Omar should be removed from this committee. But I feel like all the reasons have not just yet been stated, which is why I rise to add for the record. We've heard about the comments that were made regarding anti-Semitism and anti-Israeli views, but I rise to add to the record that as a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, I've sat there and heard the representative actually spew anti-American rhetoric as well. I've been in that committee room where the representative.
In this portion, Malliotakis underscores the importance of consistency across party lines. She references prior instances where members of her own party faced consequences for inappropriate remarks, arguing that credibility is lost when standards are enforced selectively. This is a crucial moment because it reframes the issue away from partisan retaliation and toward institutional integrity. The underlying message is that accountability only works when it is applied evenly, regardless of political affiliation. Without that consistency, disciplinary actions risk being dismissed as political theater rather than principled governance.
Equates Israel and the United States to Hamas and the Taliban. Absolutely unacceptable for a member of that committee. I've also heard the representative equate that it is the United States' fault that there is turmoil in Venezuela. That is not because of the oppressive socialist and communism that has spread throughout Central and South America in Venezuela at the hands of the Maduro and Hugo Chavez regimes. That is unacceptable. And as a New York representative, to hear the representative belittle, to try to diminish the worst terrorist attack on United States soil on September 11, 2001, as some people did something, that is unacceptable as well. And I hold the same standard for this side of the aisle that I do the other, because when another colleague on my side said something about 9/11, I also voted to have her removed from the Education Committee because I thought that was inappropriate. So I'm being consistent here, and I hope my colleagues will do the same to show that this is about consistency and accountability, because we should not have an individual.
The final segment brings all the threads together, contrasting emotional persuasion with procedural responsibility. The commentary highlights how redirecting the debate toward constitutional duty and committee standards alters the power dynamic in the room. When identity-based narratives give way to concrete questions of conduct and responsibility, the discussion becomes less about personal grievance and more about institutional expectations. This clip emphasizes that public office carries obligations that extend beyond individual experiences or intentions. The broader implication is clear. Democratic institutions rely on standards, not sentiment, to function effectively. By anchoring the conversation in rules, roles, and accountability, the debate shifts from who someone is to what they are responsible for, a distinction that lies at the heart of representative governance.